and under the same roof as he is. He's got to send it back. He's got to send it back. Oh, let me tell you something, folks. There's a lot more. So hang on. We'll be right back.
We aren't out there hungry, selling America. We've been a little bit lazy, I think, over the last couple of decades.
The symptoms of this crisis and the American spirit are all around us.
We've lost our ambition, our imagination.
You go to a bank and you use an ATM. You don't go to a bank teller.
Country that had gotten a little soft.
Change cannot happen overnight. What can we do? We've been a little bit lazy.
I was in chronic pain, and my family struggling to make ends meet, food and gas prices going up, even keeping my job was iffy. Then I learned about a new miracle drug made in Washington, D.C., Spenditol. Spenditol is Washington's answer to all the painful problems Americans face. How to borrow $800 billion for a stimulus that didn't create jobs or fix the economy? Spenditol.
Spenditol is not for everyone. Side effects may include a mountain of government debt piled on our kids, a sudden loss of freedoms, higher prices for everything, leaving our kids a lesser America than we had. Ask your doctor or congressman if your conscience is strong enough for Spenditol.
And it's so popular in Washington, we have to import trillions more of it from China. Spenditol makes you feel better now and pushes off the really bad stuff till later, for them to deal with.
Call the White House and Congress. Tell them, stop spending it all.
Feeling lonely this holiday season? Looking for little human interaction? Do you want to feel contact in certain special places?
Then why not go through security at an airport?
The TSA.
TSA agents are ready and standing by to give you a little something extra to feel thankful about this holiday season.
The TSA.
What are you waiting for? I want to check under your testicles.
Spending time with a TSA agent couldn't be easier. Simply book a flight departing from any American airport. When selected for a full body scanner, say no. You'll be pulled aside by a TSA agent, and that's when the fun begins. And you never know who your agent will be. It could be me. Or me. Or even me.
But it's probably gonna be us. Take off your damn shoe.
The TSA. It's our business to touch yours.
Welcome to the Bureau of Womanhood Conformity. Independent thoughts are considered subversive because all must agree with our leader.
When it comes to women, preventive care should include coverage of contraceptive services such as birth control.
You see, if you don't believe government should pay for your birth control, you're not a real woman. Womanhood denied. If you refuse to accept that pregnancy is a punishment, you're denied as well.
I don't want them punished with a baby.
If you don't believe that abortions should be allowed for any reason, if you don't believe in aborting a child for being the wrong gender, and if you don't believe that stay-at-home mothers aren't real workers, you are not a real conformed woman.
His wife has actually never worked a day in her life. His wife has actually never worked a day in her life.
Finally, for your safety, if you oppose mandatory government health care, you will die.
They will be voting to say that women can die on the floor.
These standards and regulations were formed after our glorious victory in the war on women. Thank you for your cooperation and your conformity.
Governor Romney's argument is, we're not fixed, so fire him and put me in.
If I was in his shoes, I'd be making the same argument.
It is true, we're not fixed.
We know we're not there yet.
We're not where we want to be.
Too many of our friends and family are still out there looking for work.
I don't think anybody would say that we're where we want to be.
The housing market's still weak. Deficits are still too high. Are we satisfied? Of course not. They shouldn't feel satisfied.
There's still a lot of people in trouble.
Are we where we want to be today? No.
Here's the thing. A lot of people are still hurting out there.
But that's not good enough.
That's not good enough.
It's certainly not enough.
We know it's not good enough.
I always believed this was a long-term project. It's going to take more than a year. It's going to take more than 2 years. It's going to take more than one term. Probably takes more than one president. If I don't have this done in 3 years, then there's going to be a one-term proposition.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Pow! And we are back. Yes, indeed. We are back. And tonight's special edition of The Rod Eccles Show, we are talking about why you should not vote for Barack Obama. Well, basically, it is why he doesn't deserve a second shot or a second term. And it isn't due to the fact that, he's racist or that, you're racist or anything. It is simply out of the fact that, that Obama he's not what you think and what he's led you to believe. He's not, folks. He's not. I don't care how you want to stir the pot. The truth is the truth. Now, let's continue with this. Obama has to send back the bust of Winston Churchill because Winston Churchill represents everything that Obama hates. Colonialism. He hates it. Now, I want you to understand something about look at now I'm going to ask you to look at something here. I want you to look at the 99% and the 1%. Now, the people in this country, the agitators who are the 99 say that they are the 99%. They don't fully understand this. They do not fully understand it. They don't understand it at all. Zip, zero, nada. If you were to tell them this type of stuff, they would look at you like you have two heads. Now, understand that the United States is roughly 3 to 4% of the world's population. Let's just go ahead and say, okay, it's 4%. Let's say it's 4% of the population. How's that? And I'm just gonna. It's really 3%. So let's we're trying to be honest and truthful. So okay, let's just say 3%. The United States population is roughly 3% of the world's population. And we hear this all the time. We're 3% of the world's population, but we consume 20 or 25% of the world's resources, which is also not true, but we'll go with the 3% here. That means that the rest of the world is what? 97%. Now, follow me on this. Now, what is it that we hear about the 1% versus the 99%? The 1% is not people making over $250,000 or more. That's not 1%. The 1% are millionaires, people who are making more than $1 million a year. Those are the 1%ers here in this country. But understand this, and I have mentioned this on this show before, and I have been taken to task by some liberals until I prove it to them with their own facts and reports from places like the United Nations. 3% is not 99%. We're the 1% of the world. Do you understand this now? Because even for the majority of the poorest of us in this country, we are wealthier than even some of the wealthiest in other nations. Speaking of the huddled masses, not the political regimes. The poor in this country are by no standards actually poor. The UN will tell you this. In this country, what do the poor have? Most, not all, but most, they will have a combination of the following: a working automobile, money every week or month to put gas in that working automobile. They have a roof over their head that meets government specs and standards. They are not starving. They have numerous programs to feed their bellies on a daily basis. They received financial assistance on a weekly, monthly basis. They have things like televisions, computers, internet, cable television. Now, do you think the poor of Kenya have this? No. Do you well, look at Barack Obama's half-brother, George. He's living in a tin hut. Do you think the poor of Indonesia have this? Do you think the poor of Malaysia have this? Do you think the poor of Libya have this? Any of this stuff? No, of course not. So what you liberals fail to understand is, in Barack Obama's eyes and his world view, the 99% is not the average American, average person living in this country. It's not the average American. It is the world citizen that has been raped and pillaged by the U.S. 99%. Understand, he's including you in this. Now understand this. Obama's father has, and this is written proof, Obama's father has stated that 100% taxation, listen, follow me on this, folks, 100% taxation by a government is absolutely fine, so long as that government then basically redistributes that money back to the people so that everybody gets services of equal value. And what do you think Obama's trying to do? Wants to raise taxes on the rich so he can redistribute that money to whom? You would think to you, because this is why we've got government takeover of the healthcare system with Obamacare. But it's Obama's father has also said that the free market should be heavily regulated by the government. Hell, we have Frank Dodd. We have Obamacare. So the banking industry and the healthcare industry is now under massive regulation by our government. The energy sector has already been under massive regulation by our government. And what else has Obama done? He shut down oil and gas production in this country on public land. Look, he couldn't even deny it when Mitt Romney said it in all of the